Time to code, time to code, time to code. Time to code. Alright. So hey, I'm Eric, and I'm making a game. You can come along that journey with me if you want. Today I decided I'm going to make a pushable block. I'm going to add a new game element to the game. Pushable block is like, if you ever played Sokoban, I suppose that's the original version of it. There's like a little block, and then you get behind it or on the side of it and you push it. In my game, I particularly didn't want to have this thing in it because it's been done so many times in puzzle games, but I'm going to do a twist on it, and I think it'll make it new, along with the 3D world, which adds its own extra twist to the game element. Let me show you the game so you can get an idea of what it is. It's called the God Killer. It's written in Unity. The source code is in C#. I hit the play button to start the game going. Alright, so lots of rough artwork, and there's a weird thing with the animation where he's always running because I haven't made it so he comes to a stop. But ignore all that. Just want to show you the gist of it. This person in the middle, that character's name is M. You control M, and when you push things like these guys that are coming along, they push you a long distance. So you can get pushed, you can push other things. I want to make it so that when you push blocks, they don't just push one square, they push multiple squares, because that would be consistent with how all the other pushing in the game works. And it would also get me out of the puzzle rut of making blocks that where you just push one square at a time. There's a certain class of puzzles that are, they've been well explored in many different games, and it tends to be kind of like you're inside of a very cluttered room and you're trying to find some path to move your stuff around, and you have to move some boxes in one place at one time, but then later on, like to make your complicated path through this room, you have to move those boxes to a different place. It ends up being kind of a multi-state maze where you're just experimenting with different states, and I don't know, it's been done. I want to do something else. So let's make the new pushable box. And I say new, I know that there's been games where something like this has been done, but I think it would be unique enough. So let's create a new level as a starting point. I'll take my empty level, I'll resave it because it's a boilerplate to be used for creating a new level. I'll create a level 4. Okay, so here's an empty level. I want to stick some walls there. What is this? Is this a floor? Okay, that's fine. Let's delete that. So I'm gonna make like just a basic level to be used for play testing the new game element. And I'll do just a tiny bit of 3D modeling here, and then I'll get to some programming. And you'll see me kind of jumping between the Unity editor and the C# editor, which is where the code is at. So let's make some walls. using an extension to Unity called Pro Builder to do this editing of shapes or meshes inside of Unity. I like it. It's pretty nice. It's good for my purposes. Like if you wanted to do some more ambitious modeling, it wouldn't be very good. But for just kind of quickly putting together basic shapes and even maybe some slightly complicated shapes inside of a scene, it's pretty ideal. Now, especially if you're sort of like wearing different hats in the development like I am. So like if I had like a dedicated level designer or a scene modeler type of a person, and they wanted to use tools that were specific to that and bring them into Unity, that might be a better workflow. But this is pretty good when it's just me working most of the controls. Now I'm taking a little extra time to make the walls not just bare bones simple, because once I create this pushable block and it goes flying across the room, I want some things for it to run into and bounce against, and I need to like get a feel for if it's fun or not with different rules that are applied to it. So I'm going to make a little bit of a playground here. See a lot of updates to the lighting. I think it might be a good idea to set my lighting settings differently. Real-time lighting. Boom. No, I guess that's fine. I thought I had baked on for a moment, but I don't. Okay, extrude. And this is going to close it off. It must be like a form of car sickness for somebody to watch this, because I'm sure all the changes to the lighting are kind of nauseous making. Alright, grab all the walls, or the tops of them, the top surface of this mesh. What do you think I'm going to do with it once they're all selected? There's probably a faster way to select them all. I should get more familiar with different options. Okay. Hold up. Make it a tall wall. Tall wall. Okay. So there's a little space there to knock things around. Alright, let's just add just a little bit more stuff. Alright. Oh, that's pretty ugly right there. I gotta fix that. I don't know how I did that. Hope I can fix it without having to redo a lot. Probably the easiest thing would just be to undo. 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 Back it up. Okay, go back down. Go back to when you weren't ugly. Alright, that means I have an extra surface selected that was not meant to get stretched upward. Okay, let's try that again. This time we'll check out the interior a little better. Okay, that seems fine. Go a little higher. Okay. Then that, and then that. Okay. There's my playground. Now let's make a new object that will be the basis of a block. And it's basically the same thing as one of these guys. It's just, I'll give it a different texture. I'll rename it. Okay, texture. Doesn't have to be anything permanent. Just something that looks different. Let's do this guy. See what that looks like. That's fine. That'll do fine. Alright. Oh, I want all the sides to be that texture though. Not that it's so important to pick the texture, I just want something different than the other things that I might get confused with. I want it to be clearly a block. Ooh. Let's get the underside. Because I'm thorough, not going to leave the bottom undone, even if nobody sees it. I want it to all be correct. Alright. So that's good enough to save as a prefab. Original prefab. Got my block there. Alright. So let's see. Now I have a type of script that I attach to it. That allows me to map this game object to a class called a piece, which is how it's represented logically. So I want to create, for this prefab, I want to create a block piece. That's a class I have not created yet, but that will be the name of the class. Okay. Save my project. Save my scene. Now I'm going to go over and do some code. Alright, the way this is laid out, I have all of the logical elements inside of here. These are classes that correspond to things that are kind of part of the model, and there's no Unity objects inside of here, with one exception I won't go into. So there's no view code in here. This is like purely logical code. So when you're looking at the board, when there's something like this that I'm sorry, looking at the game view, there's the view you see with, god damn it, I'm just doing a crummy job of modeling these, but that's fine. I'll just delete them. I don't need to fret over them. Okay, so you see like all the meshes that make up the game world. That's the view basically. There is like a model that represents all the game objects much more simply. So this thing, which is a mesh, which is a Unity game object, has a simpler representation of it, which is just like an integer column row height of where this piece is. And for many operations where the game state is updated, I don't need to look at all the meshes. You know, if I have the player is in this square and the player moves up or north towards this, I don't need to check for like a collision of the player with polygons inside this mesh. I just look at the much simpler representation of the game state, which is in this object called a board, and I'll find on that board, I'll find the block piece, and I can do things with that block piece. So that's what I'm creating. I'm creating that logical game state that represents this thing. Okay, so pieces. I might as well take a simpler piece. No, not eyepiece. That's an interface. Ice piece. That's a simpler piece. I'll just copy that all, use it as a starting point to create a new piece. Add a new class. Let's call this block piece. And fix it up inside of here with pasting over some code. Block piece. Tag block. So the the tag is what allows me to locate all of the game objects in the scene, which will be used to initialize these pieces. So this is good enough for the piece for now. Let me type another loose end. I'll go back to my prefab, set the tag to a new type of tag. Let's call it block, just like the text that I just specified. Okay. This is block. Let's save the prefab again. Okay. And I've got inside of my board loader, I've got a list of types of tags to look for. So I'll add another one. Block piece tag. And this will tell the code that examines the scene right when it starts to look for any game objects that have the block tag and use that to initialize game objects. So I did all the binding work there. So I have enough here where it's going to add this new type of block piece to my board. So now I gotta think about like what do I want the block piece to do? I want it to behave like a wall. It's a different kind of wall. It's like a mobile wall. It's a wall you can move around. Now, just by virtue of having this layer set to default instead of ignore raycast, which I have something set to ignore raycast, it means that the initial scan of the level where it raycasts straight down, right when the level initializes, we'll pick up along like with these wall heights. It'll find the walls right here. It'll come over, it'll hit this block, and it'll say the wall height is up 1, as opposed to right here it'll say it's a little bit lower. So I don't need to write any code to correctly set this as a wall right when it starts. To test that, I'm going to start the level. I just want to make sure that I'm right about that and that there aren't any other problems before I get going much further. So let us add a player object. You can see those nifty trail effects. Okay, let's put that guy there. I should say that gal, the main character of the game, is female. Okay. That should be enough to start it. Let me try that out. Let me just see what happens. I think it'll work. Oh, I forgot to attach the player cam to the player. That's okay. I can do that. I can still test everything without doing that. So right now the view is not scrolling around, but I can tell that my character is stepping up on top of the block, which is correct behavior. If there's a wall or other thing that's only 1 square higher than the next floor that's the player is on, you should be able to step up onto it, and that's what's happening. So that's good. And let me stop that. Stop the player. I'll check the console for any error messages. Just one from Pro Builder, which is a third-party package. Not really worth troubleshooting that. No, so it ran clean. All good. Time to move on. Oh, I'll set the player cam. Player. Just drag the player over to this transform for the inspector, and that means next time I hit play, the camera's going to follow along. Okay. So, onward. New things. So there is an interface I made called iTouchable, and I can implement iTouchable on the block piece. iTouchable means you can be standing next to something and move against it, and that would touch it. I think that's how I want to implement it. So let's do that. Go back to block piece, add in the iTouchable interface. Okay, I just need to implement that. Part of me says I've already screwed up because I've got this piece on the O layer, but maybe I want it on the M layer. So I have 2 layers, and I gave them very abstract names. I have the O layer and the M layer. The O layer was supposed to be for most types of pieces, and the M layer was supposed to be for like creatures and things that moved around. But the block is sort of like an M piece. I do have code that I can reuse for pushing if I make it an M piece. I think that might be smarter, actually. If I just treat it like a like another creature. Oh, yeah, and that would also help me because there's some, yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put it on the M layer. That will help me out a little bit. It's probably more correct. So let's see. Public. Not pubic. Never create pubic members. We've got enough pubic members already. Pubic, const, layer. I can't remember. It's not good to just try to remember. Let's just copy. Layer. Get layer. Get layer. I think that's it. Get layer. Where are you? Right here. Okay, so it's defaulting to O layer unless I override it. So let's go back to block piece. Let's override get layer. Put it on the M layer. And that will be wonderful because that means I get pushability automatically. This might be really fast. This might be implemented really, really fast. That would be cool. I might not need that iTouchable thing. Okay. Because I already wrote code that lets me push creatures around, and this is just like a creature that doesn't move. Unless you push it. I mean, it doesn't move in response to you. It just stands there unless you push it. So that's fine. I know there's going to be some other stuff that I need to do, but just let me see if I can push this. I'm so paranoid about Unity crashing on me. I'm just saving all the time now. I feel like since it crashes so much, it should autosave. Oh, compiler errors I've got. Alright. Oh, okay, that's fair. It's very messy of me. How about that? Let me try that. Okay. The question is, do I think I'll be able to push it? No, I didn't push it. I walked on top of it. I walked on top of it. So what is the thing that makes me walk on top of it instead of pushing it? It's that wall height. It's that wall height. So I'm trying to have my cake and eat it too. So this is the thing. So if I use something on the O layer, it gives me certain advantages. If I use something on the M layer, it gives me other advantages where I don't have to implement those things again. But this thing is kind of like a hybrid between the two things. The O layer was supposed to be things that are kind of static and stay in one place. M layer was supposed to be things that move around. But I've also got this thing which is unlike any other creature in that it's something you can stand on top of. So that is the thing which code does not currently deal with. So I have a set of heights. They're stored per square, which tell me where walls are. And because I've set this prefab so that the raycaster will hit it, it's being defined as a wall. So my walking code, when I move onto it, first it checks to see, well, is there is there a wall that is one higher? And if that's true, then the player should step on top of it. Now underneath of that code, there's another check that says, oh, is there an M here? Are we pushing an M? And if I got to that code, it would push it. But since it's first looking for the wall height and it's finding there's a wall here, it's stepping up on top of it. So I need to think about how I want to handle that. I'm going to go to the piece of relevant code. For walking. See, it's already a pretty complicated bit of logic here. After a fair amount of refactoring and trying to clean this up, it is still a lengthy, complex function. And this is the heart of the game logic. It's the same method that is used by the player-controlled character and also all the other creatures that walk around. So I'm pretty careful to try to reuse the same code for things. Not just for dry principles, but because I want the game to have this kind of fair feeling to it, like the same rules apply to everyone. Okay. So first it tries touching. I could put iTouchable back in. Actually, this is the pattern I used with axles and spokes, I believe. Did I do that with spokes? Spokes implements iTouchable, yeah. Okay. Alright, so first I touch into the square. And this code right here could be the thing that initiates the push. I don't like that extra space, I'll take that out. Okay. But it only checks O pieces for touchable. This is what I was talking about when I said, like, I've got some things that O layer objects can do and some things that M layer objects can do. So I'm going to write out my different options here because they're going to have different advantages or disadvantages to them. That's what I do when I start like worrying about different approaches. Could extend iTouchable logic to include M pieces. Number one. Approach number one. Right. iTouchable. Say implement iTouchable in block piece so that it gets pushed. Block piece is an M piece. Okay, so that's one way. Right now it's my favorite way. Okay, number two. Don't use heights. Don't use heights for tracking. Don't track heights on block piece. I must know this one's a non-starter, because then you have to implement special casing in not the obstacle check for walking, but for falling, but for land. So there's this other function I call when the player arrives at a square or enters a square, and I want to check to see if there's anything underneath them. If there's nothing underneath the player, or more generically the M, I want that piece to fall. Hey Belza, I'm not using your real name unless you want me to. I'm trying to protect your privacy, fella. Glad to see you here. Real names or not real names? You gotta tell me. I'll just call you Belza if you want, or the Legend of Belza. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm implementing a pushable block, and I'll show that to you real quick. All right, Norman, showing you the real deal right here. So here's this block, and I want my guy to be able to push it. And there's a bunch of code I've already written. I want to do it in a certain way, and I'm trying to hook it up to my code in a way that isn't going to make me regretful later on. So I don't want it to be a big ugly mess. I want to use kind of reusable principles here. So I'm laying out my different options. So I could do that, and that would block piece be an M piece or an O piece at that point? I think I would keep it an M piece. Number 3. I can make block piece an O piece. If I make it an O piece, does that give me anything? I have to special case in pushing, because I already have code that will work with it if it's an M piece. So that's definitely a bad side there. But is there anything good I get if I make it an O piece? I think this is not a good option. So that's a minus. Here's another minus. It will overwrite other O pieces, like ice. And I want blocks to work on ice. I don't want a block to land on an ice square and just overwrite the ice. That would be gross. Like ice and spikes. Spikes are another one I don't want to get overridden. So I'm pretty sure I don't want block piece to be an O piece. I'm just sure enough I'm going to remove that. This first one is not too bad. I like it because then if I've got like stacks and stacks of blocks, so like from a side view, say all these pound signs for blocks, all that would just kind of work automatically. So if I've got a character that's just climbing up and down these blocks, all the logic is there in place already. I don't need to do anything. So really, I've just got to do a few things here. Yeah, this is going to be my way to do it. Rule out option number 2, yank that out. Block piece, keep it an M piece. Extend iTouchable logic to include M pieces. So before I was only checking for O pieces to be iTouchable, but I also check for M pieces to be iTouchable. This is getting large enough that I'm embarrassed to have it all be here, so I'll probably refactor that in a moment. I kind of want to get it to work first though. Yeah, this is not very dry. Not very dry at all. I'll come back to it. I'll make it dry. Pen piece is untouchable. Is untouchable. Okay. So put a big to-do here. Refactor this and make dry. Or I end up with a bunch of garbage that embarrasses me and slows me down. Alright, so then got everything to touch the piece, so now I need to implement inside of my block piece class iTouchable. Put this back in. And what is iTouchable? Is this interface here. Boom. Okay. So, I got another design decision. Do I want other pieces to be able to knock blocks around? I think I do. I think that's going to be consistent. So I don't care what the touching piece is, probably. I think I don't care what the touching piece is. It could be a player. It could be another creature. Okay. So we'll say this. Well, I do care what direction the piece is coming from, though. So let's see. CRH, column row height, touching, CRH equals touching piece, get CRH. I want to know what direction it's pushing. I don't know why my auto complete's not working. It doesn't feel right. Oh, yeah. So override that. Touch piece board effects ref list knobs. Come on, what do you mean? I just copy it over, of course it implements it. What's the thing you're complaining about? Well, that's annoying. It's not implement. God, it's so annoying when I think I've done exactly what it asked me to do. I've still got a syntax error. Oh, and then I just move that and then it's fine? Is that it? No, it's not right. I must be missing something. Void touch. Boom. Just clean it, rebuild it. I've got that. Okay. iTouchable. Oh my god. Yeah. That should do it. Alright. What? Oh, well, okay. That's true. Using system collections. Where is my friggin' autocomplete? How can I do anything with autocomplete not working? I gotta remember everything to be my own autocomplete. I'll tell you, Norman, this editor is it's not the greatest. This IDE, Visual Studio, Community Edition, ships with Unity. There, okay. Could be teaching me to be a better coder, though, by being stupid. Okay. Okay, direction. I want the direction. CRH. I might as well write a utility that gets the direction between two CRHs. Alright, so I'll just make let's make a utility method. Get better place to put it would be in CR delta. Okay. Public static. Delta from CRHs. CRHA, CRHB. Let me say return. Let's do B. BC minus AC, BR minus AR. And I'll not worry about the height. So this will return like the delta of the column row movement between two sets of coordinates. And go back to my block piece. And I can say CR delta. CRD equals from the, let's see, the direction will be from the touching CRH. Let's see. God, no freaking autocomplete. I don't even know what that means. It's gonna drive me nuts. Okay, this get CRH. Alright, so that'll give me a delta. Okay, and I want this piece, which is the block. Yeah, no autocomplete. Alright, so back to piece. Let's get to push. pushing should always be flat, but where is the top level push? Where is the public push? Did I make a public push? Did I hide away push down there because I was afraid there was something dangerous about calling it directly? Oh, here it is. Okay, here it is. Good, good. I trust myself. If I made a public push method, then it was safe to call it. Back to the block piece. Okay. So it would be this push CRD DC, CRD DC, CRD DC, and CRD DR. And I'm not going to allow pushing at an upward angle or downward angle. Could be fun, but it could be too chaotic, so let's just leave that out. Okay, effects. That should give me basic pushing. I think so. I think that'll work. Did I get these right? So yeah, touching into this one will give me the direction of movement. The destination chord should be the second one. Okay. So that should do it. There is some extra code that I will need to make to set the heights, the floor ceiling heights. In the original block square and the ending block square. Starting block square. Okay. Now I have comments for myself. Push block in direction of touch. Okay. This has a chance of working on the first try. That would make me pretty happy. Okay, so it's building. Come back, hit play. I would love to see this block fly across the room. Yes, fingers crossed. And Unity takes a long time to do this little build. At some point I should optimize that, but okay. Oh, I stepped on top of it again. Okay. So what happened there? I may have to step through this in the debugger. Okay, so I know the code in question should be here. Let's run this in the debugger. Okay. Here we go. Try again. See what's going on. Okay, turn off the breakpoint until I move close enough to the thing. Okay, okay, now turn the breakpoint back on. Alright, now I think mpiece will not be null. I think it will pick up the block. I always make verbal assertions as I go. It keeps me awake, it keeps me alert. I was wrong. I was wrong. It is, it's null. So this should have gotten the M piece there. There should have been an M piece there. Why was there not an M piece there? Is it the touch height? Touch height's at 2. That seems right to me. I'll go back and check it. But let's see. So let's take a look at my board. New call 18, 23, 2. Board. Oh, it's going to put the touch height. Okay. So oh man, I've got this logic that would make the player touch upward if the player was on a slope or a step. It's instead of going to height 1, it's going up to height 2. Yeah, I need a flat touch for this, and I can special case it. I can definitely special case it and it'll get the right height, but I wonder if that's going to mess me up with something in the future. Like I'll add some other thing that I want to be touchable, and it won't work. Let me just try. Yeah, I really don't like this, but I just want to try it just to get it going. Moving versus pushing. Yeah, actually that's right. So there's some code here that is trying to make a choice between moving or pushing. I mean, it should actually be able to push first and then move. But some existing cleverness in the code is not covering the case I want. And I'm trying not to dismantle that cleverness, but first I gotta just get it working. I just want to see it work. Then I'll come back to get it to be pretty and architecturally beautiful. Alright. Take out the breakpoint. And let's see, put play. Don't crash on me, Unity. No crashes. Okay, I have to restart you. It's still doing that. Actually, did it even rebuild? Maybe I didn't rebuild. Okay. Build all. Okay. Done, yes. Okay. Try again. Nope, still doing that. That's fine. I want to know why. Why? Okay. I'm gonna be sad if it's null. Dang it. What is going on? Did it get added to the board? Did it even get added to the board? The board is like the logical game state that I'm checking. So in board loader, I said look for this block piece. It's got discover util, discover from game object, add to board. Alright, so let's just override add to board. So I can set a breakpoint there and just verify that it's actually adding it. Okay, add to board. That's a good thing to check. I'm going to double check that. I think I'm pretty sure it is, but that is worth checking. So let us stop the debugger. Stop Unity. And we've got y equals 1. Yeah, so that is at ground level. Yeah. So that's good. So I expect it to be right there. So here I'm just going to call the base. Really is annoying that I lost my autocomplete ref board. Let's see. I think that's how you do it. I always forget to do this. Okay. So I'll set a breakpoint there. I'll see exactly which call row height it's putting it at. I've got a feeling it might be adding it like one higher. I don't know. I'll see. So now the board loader should go to a breakpoint. Did not go to a breakpoint. Why would it not go to a breakpoint? Is it because the tag isn't set? I thought I set the tag. Let me check the tag. Block. Tag is at block. Tag is at block. Okay. What am I missing? I've got a simple piece discovery script, which should create a block piece. Let's go into the board loader. Board loader, piece tags. Okay, so it's going to say the annoying thing about this is it's going to get a whole bunch of stuff here, and I kind of just want to have a breakpoint only for the block. Discover from game object, discover util. Okay, addable. Find game objects with tags. Let me double check what I set the tag to. Block. And then the tag is block, all lowercase. That's right. Well, I can first check if it found all the game objects if it found the game object that is the block. So I'll check for that first. Hit play. Okay. What? Oh, I know. I didn't have the debugger going. Okay. So, start debugging. That's why my breakpoint. That's why my breakpoint did not run. Okay. So then let's try this again. Board addable. Okay. So where do you think it's going to put it? Where is it going to put it? Okay. Let's get layers M. So call row height should be set. So I expect 18 row, and I think this should be 1. I think this should be 1. Will it be 1? Yes, it is. Okay. This block piece. So, okay, block piece was instanced. That's good. That all looks healthy. So I'm just going to remember that. 18, 23, 1. 18, 23, 1. Writing that down. 18, 23, 1. Okay. Set M. These methods I trust. So it's added. I think it's on the board. I think it's a question of why. It's still a mystery why I don't see it beneath. But I'm ruling things out. Okay, let's toggle that off so I can walk around a little bit. Come on, see. Oh, I gotta hit play. Okay. Up. Okay, toggle back on. Then we go. Bam. Okay. Now let's see. Does this match? It is 18. The next one should be 23. Next one should be 1. M piece equals board get M. Okay. Should not be null. It really shouldn't be. Okay, that's fine. I think maybe I didn't have a fresh build one time or something. I don't know. Okay, so now I'm already stepping through. I might as well keep stepping. Let's touch the piece. What happens when I touch the piece? Touching CRH. That should be, I think it should be 1824 maybe. Down a little bit. Let's see. Yep, 1824-1. Okay, I've got a new method I wrote to get the deltas between the two sets of coordinates. I think this should be 0, -1. Yep. Okay. Now it is actually going to push it. So far, so good. Knobs are like another game element. Okay. So that looks healthy enough. I'm just gonna hit play and see what happens. Ah! The hell? It didn't push it. Let me think about that. Okay. Actually, I think it did push it though. I think it did push it. It's just that I have like another thing which controls the height. So I think what happened is it pushed it. There's like an invisible block over here where my mouse pointer is, but because I have a separate data structure which holds the heights of floors and ceilings, and that was not updated. So it actually makes sense that this guy would step up here, because that heights structure has not been updated yet. The other thing that I have to add in for this this mesh to travel over here is an effect which moves that mesh. So I think I've successfully updated the logical state. I'll go down. Oh. I think I've updated the logical state, but I haven't. I've got two things I need to update. I've got two things. There's like an invisible block here. I'm almost 100% sure. I have to update. What happened? Now the block's gone entirely. It's like a magic trick. Like I left and the block went out of view to the south, and then I went back south, and then whoa, it just like ran off someplace. Okay, I'm not in control of my blocks yet, but I know some more things I have to do. Yeah. Yeah, actually, I always thought it was kind of a cool thing if you see it in a game where you just turn your camera view to one direction, and while you're looking off in another direction, like the game code just messes with you and changes stuff that's out of your field of view, and you look back and then it's all different. I think I might have inadvertently done that. Okay, so I'm feeling better. I just need to keep going with the stuff that I already knew I had to write anyways. Okay, so this part I know works, I can take out. And this message to myself is it's very germane. So I want to remove the wall from the square that I pushed. Okay. So board. Let's see if I can just restart the editor and get friggin' autocomplete to work again. Let's just quit it. Stop debugging, sure. Stop debugging. I'm making a horror game. The horror is my own bad coding. Alright. The horror is not having autocomplete. And being exposed to the feebleness of my own mind that I can't remember everything. Okay, come back in. Block piece. Board. Heights. There, autocomplete. Oh, it's back. Okay. Then I wrote all these lovely methods that I'm proud of. I'm going to add a hole at a square. The absence of a wall in this game is a hole. So I say, since I'm going to use this multiple times, let's just capture it here. CRH equals this, get CRH, get the coordinates, change this to CRH, and hold square, CRH. Okay. Sure, Norman. Boom. Okay, so CRH. Okay, base height, top height. C, CRH. R, CRH. H, and then is the top height the same as the base height? I think it's, okay, the base height, it's going to be like 1. Top height, it's going to be +1. I think that's it. then I also need to add a wall at the square it ends up at. And a wall is a ceiling and a floor. So if I say if I get CRH after it's moved, which the push will move it. The push will move the block. CRH, if I get it again, is get CRH. That should get the destination. Update to destination. It's also possible. It's also possible that the block was right up against the wall, and when I pushed it, I destroyed it. That is a thing that can happen. So if this is alive, yeah, let's do the not. This is alive because I'll need some kind of animation at some point to show like an exploding crate. This is where it would go. So that'll be a return. To do add block destroy effect. Okay, then I need another effect to move the block. To move it not in the game state or board logic, but in the view state. So let's say effects, add new, and then I have to create this effect. I'll call it let's see, what's my naming convention? I don't know. I should have gotten an effect back from push. Push should have returned an effect already for piece pushed effect. I already have something for the piece to be pushed. So there must be some problem there. But I know I can do a little bit here to make this better. I would think I will have to step into push to see exactly what it's doing there. That's alright. So I'll set a breakpoint there. Build this baby. Go back to piece. Let's see. This I'm pretty confident about. I can take that out. Although I should, let's build it one more time. Okay. Okay. Huh. Okay, I removed the hole, or the wall. I removed the wall there. So the question is, did the wall get added over here? Maybe not. Okay, so it's, yeah. Wow. That's weird. Okay. So I forgot to start the debugger, I think. Yes, I did. Start the debugger again. Okay. Push, what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, I think this should do something. D-row. Okay, DH0. All fine. Keep going. I miss having assertions in JavaScript. Or I mean in JavaScript, I miss having assertions. That's a nice thing about C#. Okay. So this should make me go to push flat. I'm in push flat. We're not pushing at an upward or downward angle. Push call, push row is push bit. Okay. Okay, can I move? Let's see, what is this? This is the block. Okay, can the block move to, can it move in the direction it's being pushed? Forward, okay. It can. It can. What? What? Okay, good. All right. Is there a piece in the way? No. Yes. Okay, good. Okay, we're moving. We are moving. We're finding where it's going to land. Okay, we're finding where it's going to land. And D row should be -1. Push row should be heading up that way, heading north. And keep going until the only place it can go from here is down to this loop, so I might as well set a breakpoint and go down. What? Really? Come on. I guess I gotta start over. Although I do kind of want to see this thing where it disappears. What is the thing that makes it disappear? It's not going off the screen. It can't be that. That would be too conspiratorial. Yeah. Okay. I bet I know what it is. I bet I know. I've got an effect that is working when I go up here, because I'll end up pushing that block in a way that destroys it, which will cause the associated mesh to be removed from the board. So I go there. Oh. Whatever. Oh, just whatever you're trying to do, just stop. Just stop. Run, stop. Cool. Okay. You should already be built. Run, start debugging again. You better restart. Restart the player. Okay. Okay. And we step through again. I hit play. I think the next breakpoint will catch. If it doesn't, then that's weird. Yep, okay, it caught. For some reason, this thing doesn't like me to set breakpoints sometimes in the middle of an execution. So push space, I think, is available. We'll skip past this block. That's fine. I think we have, how many push pieces do I think we have? I think we have just one. We have the one that was added there. Yep. Okay. So just the block is being pushed. Then push call and push row. I expect push call will be the same. Push call will be the same as call. Push call will be 18. Push row will be something like 7 or, okay, 13. Okay, it's up north. That's fine. It's nothing ridiculous. So then I back up one, because right now I'm on the obstacle that blocked the path. So I back up 1 square. And I say, of all the pieces that I stored while I was traversing the push path, let's unload them into the squares in reverse order. And I just got 1. So I pop it out. This should be a block piece. Is it a block piece? It is a block piece. Okay, here's the piece pushed effect. That should have worked to move it. So if landing piece call is not equal push call, or landing piece row is not equal push row. What was that logic for? Oh, meaning if it's any place other than push call push row. Oh, right, because if the piece would stay in the same spot, then I don't want to do all this stuff down here. But I think that the landing piece column, or the column will be the same as the push call, but the row, that's going to be 23, this is going to be 13. 14, okay. So it will go in. It's going to add this effect here. The landing piece, block piece. Does landing piece have a transform? Do you have a transform? The transform would be the thing that attaches the mesh. You got it, okay. So I'm saying that this piece will go to push call, push row, height 1. That's all good. That effect is there. It should do its job. Effects. Okay, whatever. Then I'm moving the piece from the board. Push call, push row. Oh yeah, I'm moving it to this new destination. Okay. I don't think that'll add any effects. I don't think that'll do anything interesting. The land height should just be the height. Okay. And this is a nice thing. This is a nice thing right here. This land. Because that will add the thing where the block will drop down. The only thing is I will need to, inside of land, might as well, while I remember it, add a note. Inside of land, right now, if an M lands on top of another M, it always destroys it. But you need a special case or some kind of extra attribute of the piece that it's stackable. If piece is stackable, don't destroy that. Don't destroy. So I don't want a block that lands on top of another block to destroy the block underneath. I want it to stack on top of an existing block. So I'll have to come back and do that. But one thing at a time. One thing at a time. Okay. But let's do the land. Make sure it's not failing here. Expect land height to be 1. I think it'll land on 1 because there's no empty space beneath it. Okay. So it's just a simple landing. What's this about? Oh, that's the check for the player to land on the exit piece. Okay, it doesn't apply. So return. Okay. So far, like, no problems. But that's kind of not a good thing because I know it's not going to work. The part that's not working is this piece pushed effect is not actually updating the mesh location. So I might as well, since I'm already in here, set a breakpoint for this. I hate that. All I did was set a breakpoint and then it like assumed I had to jump over someplace else. Okay. Okay. So perform got called from CRH 1823.1 2C18 2R14 2H1. Okay, the transform non-null. That's all good. So this should move it. Should move it. Should really move it. Oh, I bet I know. I bet I know. That's a dumb thing. If this is it, I'll be happy, but it'll be dumb. Okay. Do I have this set to be a static object? Yes, I do. Alright, that's almost certainly it. Okay, project. Prefab. Update my prefab. Update my prefab. Update it. Update it. Block. Okay. And then let's save. It's been a while since I saved. Save project. Okay. And let's just try it. Let's just try it. I feel like it might work. A lot of things were working right before, so this might be the last thing. Okay. Breakpoints. Turn you off. Go. Just go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Now what? So if I go here, push here, it went off to the right. Yes, it did. Didn't stop in the right place. That's okay. That's okay. Alright, still some bugs. Still some bugs. Some kind of off by one type error. Alright. That's kind of sloppy. But I can say that I actually pushed the block. I can say that I did that, even if I didn't do it well. So that on its own will make me feel like I've achieved something. But I don't want to leave a big mess. I hate coming back to a mess. So I'm not going to stop there. Let's fix the bugs. All right. So let me get something that's simple to reproduce. I do have unit tests for this stuff too, but it's kind of not as fun. could put things in the unit test. Okay, so that's my first thing I can see that's wrong. When I pushed it to the right, it stopped one before the wall. Now it could be that the game object, the logical object is there where it should be, and the mesh is lagging behind. That's kind of my theory, but I don't know why that would be true. So if I go up, will the block get pushed up? Yeah, block got pushed up. So I think the game object is probably in the right place. But the mesh is not, perhaps. Okay, so if I push west here, it's some kind of one-off error type thing. Yeah, there I just destroyed it. Because if you push, by the rules of my universe, if you push a pushable object and there's no place for it to go, it just destroys. It dies. Okay. So a lot of times it's just as simple as the mesh has the wrong offset. So I'm going to compare it to the player. So this says 17.1. If I go look at the player, is the player at 17.1? Player's at 17.1. Okay, so there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with the offset of the mesh relative to its positioning. Okay. So let me make this more controlled. I throw another floor here. And then I make my test as simple as I push east. Now let's make it go over 1, because then I'll be able to see movement even if it doesn't. Yeah, okay. So I do this, and then the block begins at 17, and I want the block to end up at 19. Okay. So piece, build all. Push flat. I think I don't want to go through every damn thing, so let's just start the breakpoint down here. Okay, what's it doing? Okay. Ready. Gonna push. Okay. So it starts at 17, I want to go to 19. So push call, I think should be 20. I think push call should be on the obstacle square. Yep. So I'll back up 1 from the square that I found the obstacle at. That should put me at 19. Row will be, whatever row is. Okay, 26. Okay, so I should have 1 piece that was being pushed. My landing piece will be a block piece. Okay. It will have moved. This line checks to make sure it moved. Okay. Then I'll add an effect. Okay, this I should zero in on. Okay, so I'm saying that the piece is going to move to push call 19, push row. Let me just double check what happens in here. So this is the message that the logical code is sending back out to the view for what needs to happen. And the logical updates to the game state are agnostic about changes to the view, or I should say they're insulated from them. So they pass these effects back and say, you do the work, view, once we come back from our state update. So from zero, okay. So yeah, I mean, this is like the code that was working just fine for my other stuff. So it'd be really unusual if this didn't just work exactly the same. Like, I don't know. You know, it might be this rotate thing. That could be it. Oh, that's almost certainly it. That's almost certainly it. Okay. Okay. Now I'm getting it. So the thing that happens when I push these other pieces is that they rotate to the direction that they're getting pushed. Yeah, so I'm guessing it's the rotation that's making the pieces appear in the wrong spot. So I feel like the game logic is fine. It's the view code, and more specifically, it's going to be that rotation part of it. So we'll go back up to piece pushed effect and set my breakpoint here. God damn it, I hate this IDE. I set a breakpoint and then it does something weird every time. Alright, hit play. This should break on the effect. Except I don't trust the IDE. Okay, so alright. So this is okay. This is okay. Let's go to the scene view from here without stopping it. Yeah. Scene. Oh, tiny little scene. Really? Okay. Picture within a picture action. Okay, so I want to check the rotation on the block. Let's bring up the inspector. So yeah, so it got rotated to 90 degrees. So if I set this to 0, I expect it'll be flush up against the obstacle that stopped it. Yep, that's it. That's it. Okay, this makes sense to me. This makes sense. So I tried to use the same effect that I used for some other things to move this block. And when I'm pushing like these enemies around, these other creatures, they get rotated to whichever direction they got pushed, which makes sense for them. And in order to accommodate that, I have like this kind kind of better encapsulation of their rotation. But when I'm pushing a block, it doesn't make any visual sense to rotate it. So I need like some kind of distinguisher for when I want it to rotate or not. And then it should be fine. So let's hit pause or hit stop. Just kind of makes a mess of things when I opened up the scene while in play. So let's close that. Okay. So I could do different things. Could create a new effect that is for pushing things that don't rotate. But I have some other goals that tell me that that's a bad idea. So I think I'll add a rotation flag. Rotate on move. Yeah, but then I gotta write special casing code. It'll be like a if this piece equals that, then. So maybe what I want instead is some attribute of the piece that's general. Let's say kind of like, okay, I've got is pushable. Let's say public virtual bool is rotatable. That might be a good general property. I can say most of the time it's true. Most of the time it's true. Sometimes it's not. And in the case of a block, let's say, nah, it's not. It's just not rotatable. Override bool is rotatable. Turn false. Okay. Okay, and then in my effect, let's say private bool rotate is rotating. Okay, so I'll say is rotating equals piece is rotatable. And then down here, say that if it's rotating, I'll just call the old code. But if it's not rotating, really all I gotta do is just move the transform to the new location. Let me just see if there's any special, if it's worth adding another utility method for this or not. Let's go piece util. No, that's not it. Piece effect util. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, all this code here is about rotation. The only thing I need to do is this, so it's not worth making a utility method for. Get back over to the effect. Say the transform. Am I saying the transform? Okay, I got the transform. Okay, the transform position equals CRH util CRH to vector 3, 2C, 2R, 2H. What are you complaining about? Oh, well, okay. Okay, let's just make another override for this. CRH util, CRH util. Oh, I already have one. Call row height to vector 3. That's what I want to use instead. Okay. Makes sense. Okay, so that should do it. That should do it. I'm optimistic. Building, building, building. All right, let's play it. Let's play it. I feel like I got a 50-50 chance that this is going to do it. They'll have pushable blocks. Okay, so that's fine. So far, so good. This way I expect to work. Yep. Let me go this way. If I go down here, it'll get stuck. Okay, it works. So then there's this thing here. If I keep going south, it'll destroy it. Yep. As expected. So that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. I'm not happy with some of the special casing I've got inside of walk. Inside of my walk method. I want to think about how to fix that, but I don't know. This might be a nice stopping point. Just kind of let that stuff mull around in my head. So things I know that I've left to do. Yeah, let's just stop that. Make a few notes so I can come back to it. Yeah, not too bad for about 2 hours of work. Alright, so the things I know I still need to do. I left to-dos for them all over the place. There's the block destroy effect. That's a small thing. The big things are to do. I was going to get satisfied with the ugly logic inside of walk, kind of generalize it, make it not so special casey, refactor some of it out to a separate function. What else? The falling logic needs to allow blocks to stack on top of each other. Okay, some things that I don't want to miss out on. If two blocks, I'll call them test cases, because I do need to do unit tests on these. Okay, write unit tests for this stuff. Test cases. 2 blocks stacked and you push bottom block, the top block should fall and kill pusher. Just some things that probably worked that I didn't check. Creatures, not player. Can push blocks. Blocks fall down when pushed off cliffs. Push multiple blocks together. So if the player is here and there's like 2 blocks or 3 blocks there, and the player pushes to the right, all the blocks should get pushed. Pushed blocks will push creatures as well. So if there's some other creatures that are in the way, they're off over here. If you push these blocks here and they go off to the right, you should push all the creatures along with it as well. That's good. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I really want to put this in unit test form. I do have quite a few unit tests already, and they have made it so I can catch quite a few things. Yeah, but this is a good stopping point. I think I'm gonna knock off here, Norman. Thank you for joining me. It was that was cool of you, and yeah, I'm gonna start thinking about dinner, fixing some dinner for me and my sweetheart, and hope you're having a good evening. All right, man. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Stopping the stream, stopping the stream, stopping the stream, stop.